Oggi impariamo le parti del corpo in italiano. Buondì studenti, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to say body parts in Italian. For each word, as always, I'm going to teach you the correct Italian pronunciation. Plus, I've added some example sentences to see these words in context. Now, I actually have a previous video about the head, la testa, so today we're going to learn about the rest of the body. I'm going to leave you the link to that video in the description as usual. Now, before we jump in, if you're serious about improving your vocabulary in Italian, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. This way, you will never miss out on my weekly Italian language tips, tricks, and lessons. Ok, iniziamo. Let's begin. Now, we're going to learn body parts today. So how do we say that in Italian? That is le parti del corpo. Le parti del corpo. Now, like I did in my previous video, I'm actually going to point out which words are irregular in the plural because a lot of body parts don't follow the general rule for making the plural, and I want you to be aware of that. And I'm also added some helpful grammar tips to talk about body parts, your body parts correctly in Italian from a grammatical point of view, because there are some interesting differences between how we phrase these expressions in Italian compared to English. Okay. La prima parte del corpo, first body part we're going to learn today is arm. That's braccio. Braccio. Okay. Braccio, first word, irregular already. So braccio is il braccio, singolare. So let me type this for you. Il braccio. But look what happens for the plural. The plural is le braccia. So I know it's weird. So I always try to give you the explanation, the why behind things in Italian, but I have to admit sometimes there are not specific whys and reasons. So for these words, you just have to take them as they are. I'm sorry, really, but that's how it is. Il braccio is one, il braccio, le braccia is both. Va bene? Okay, let me show you an example sentence. My right arm is sore. How would we say that in Italian? We would say ho il braccio dolorante. So notice how we phrase this differently. We don't say my arm is sore. We say I have ho il braccio, the arm, dolorante means painful or sore. Okay? Ho il braccio dolorante. So that's one difference between Italian and English. Andiamo avanti. Next word is word for hand. Come si dice hand? It's mano and it's feminine. So la mano. Let's take a little bit of space here. La mano. How do we say that plural? Le mani. So mano is a weird word because it ends in o, but it's feminine, la mano. In the plural, the o changes into I as for the general rule, but it's still feminine. So la mano, le mani. Va bene? Okay. For example, if we want to say his or her hands are cold, we say ha le mani fredde. See, another example of the point, the grammar point I was highlighting before. We don't really say he or she has, his or her hands are cold. We say he or she has cold hands. Va bene? Ha le mani fredde. Ok, la prossima parola, next word, is the word for leg. Gamba. Gamba. And thank God, this is regular. So, la gamba, le gambe. For example, if you want to say he has a wound on his left leg, that in Italian is ha una ferita sulla gamba sinistra. Okay? And here's something, a very important grammar point that I want you to notice for this phrase, but for any body part. Can you notice how we translated this differently? In English you say, he has a wound, ha una ferita, so up to this point is the same, on his left leg. In English you say, on his left leg, so you use the possessive adjective. But we don't, we say, on their left leg. And that's a point I want to really highlight, because this is one of the most common mistakes I see students make, native English students make, which is totally fine at the beginning, but if you want to refine your vocabulary and your expression in Italian, you may want to notice this. We never use possessive adjectives to refer to our body parts, but even other people's body parts, unless it's essential to avoid confusion. But in general, we don't say my hair, my face, my hands, my leg. That's redundant in Italian. So if you do that, that sounds a little bit too much. We just say the hair. And if you're talking about mine from the context of the sentence, I will understand I'm talking about my hair, or I'm talking about my leg, or I'm talking about whatever part of my body I'm talking about. So we remember this, we do not use possessive adjectives, my, your, so mio, tuo, suo, etc. for body parts in Italian. Va bene? That's a difference I always highlight and I want you to notice if you want to sound more natural when speaking Italian. If you don't know what possessive adjectives are, or you're unsure how to use them correctly, no worries, I have some videos dedicated to possessive adjectives and when you actually need to use them and how to use them correctly in Italian, and I will link the link in the description below. Ok, continuiamo. Let's continue with body parts, le parti del corpo. Next word is the word for foot. That's piede, il piede. And this one is regular too. So, il piede, I piedi, as you would expect. So, for example, I need a lotion for, if you go to the pharmacy and you say, oh, I need a lotion for swollen feet. How do we say that? Ho bisogno di una crema per i piedi gonfi. I need a lotion, a cream, we say, una crema, per i piedi gonfi. And gonfio is how we say swollen. In this instance, we're saying I piedi gonfi. So, all plural. Ok, andiamo avanti. Another word is the word for shoulder. That in Italian is spalla. And spalla is also regular. So, la spalla, le spalle. Let's suppose we want to say my shoulder hurts after the workout. How do we say that? La spalla, non la mia spalla. Can you see that? We don't say my shoulder. We just say the shoulder. Okay? La spalla mi fa male. That's how we say it hurts. We say it hurts me. Okay? Mi fa male. Actually, we say it hurts to me. Mi fa male. Dopo l'allenamento. After the workout. Dopo l'allenamento. La spalla mi fa male dopo l'allenamento. And this is another example of where we wouldn't use possessive adjectives. We're talking about the shoulder, of course, is my shoulder that's hurting to me, so we don't need to repeat that, my, that would be too much. La spalla mi fa male dopo l'allenamento. Ok, un'altra parola, the word for elbow. The word for elbow is gomito. Another regular one. Evviva! Yay! So, gomito, plurale, gomiti. Il gomito, I gomiti. Per esempio, the child scratched his elbow. How do we say that? So we're learning a lot of expressions about body parts and hurting your body parts too. So, oops. Il bambino si è graffiato. That's how we would say he scratched. So we use the verb graffiarsi, which is a reflexive verb, and in fact, graffio is a scratch. So graffiarsi is to scratch oneself. Il bambino si è graffiato il gomito. So see, we don't use his elbow. We just say il bambino si è graffiato il gomito. We already have the reflexive verbs, the reflexive verb that shows whose elbow we're talking about. We don't need to use the we don't need to use the possessive adjective because we're using the reflexive verb. So if you don't know what reflexive verbs are, I'm going to leave the link in the description for the videos on reflexive verbs. Let's move on with body parts. Andiamo. Un'altra parola, another word for body parts is wrist. In italiano, polso. Polso. For example, I wear a watch on my left wrist. Indosso un orologio al polso sinistro. Sì, non il mio polso sinistro, just al polso sinistro. Va bene? Perfetto. Now, I know that we have seen a lot of words already, and I know that it may be difficult to remember this rule of not using possessive adjectives when talking about body parts, but fear not, as always, I prepared a PDF for you to download to easily review all the words, all the expressions, all the phrases, and all the tips we go through in this lesson. So please don't forget to download your PDF by using the link in the description below. Va bene? Perfetto. Andiamo avanti. Let's move on. La prossima parola, next word, is the word for hip. That in Italian is anca. So anca means hip in Italian. For example, my grandmother has hip problems. Mia nonna ha problemi all'anca. My grandmother has problems has hip problems. We say problems at hip. Mia nonna ha problemi all'anca. Okay, and anca is also regular. So l'anca, le anche. And even polso is regular. Il polso, I polsi. When I don't state that, it means that's regular. Ok. Andiamo avanti. La prossima parola is the word for another word for hip. So we do have two words. Anca is the hip, as when you talk about the inside part of the hip, okay, the bone. But if you want to talk about the hip as the side of your body, so the external part that's located on the side of your body, then we would say fianco, the word fianco. Fianco also means hip, but the difference between anca and fianco, that anca is inside and fianco is outside, is the side of your body at where the anca is. So, for example, if we want to say he sleeps on his right side, we literally say he sleeps on his right hip, but the external part. So, per esempio, do we say it right? Destro? Dorme sempre sul fianco destro. Dorme sempre sul fianco destro. Again, we're not saying his side, his right side, we're just saying on the right side. Dorme sempre sul fianco destro. Fianco is another regular word, so the singular is fianco, the plural is fianchi. So we do add an H to make the sound, to keep the sound hard, but it's just the general. Fianco, fianchi. Ok, andiamo avanti. A few more words to learn. The word for knee. The word for knee in Italian is ginocchio. And since I know that you were disappointed that we have so many regular words, I'm going to give you an irregular one that's very tricky. So, ginocchio is il ginocchio, maschile, ma plurale? Le ginocchia. I know, there you have it. Il ginocchio, le ginocchia. So remember, knee is irregular in Italian. For example, he hurt his knee playing soccer. Si è fatto male al ginocchio giocando a calcio. Va bene? Perfetto. Andiamo avanti. We're almost done with body parts. Just a few more. We still need to learn how to say ankle. And ankle is caviglia. Caviglia. And this is regular. La caviglia, le caviglie. So, for example, if you want to say she has a sprained ankle, we say ha la caviglia slogata. Slogata. That's how you say sprained ankle in Italian. La caviglia slogata. Ok. Andiamo avanti. How to say back. Your back. That in Italian, now this is something that many students know, but they usually don't get the right pronunciation. So this is schiena. I've heard a lot of students saying scena. No, remember that the H always makes sounds hard in Italian. So la schiena, and if you need plural is le schiene. Va bene? Perfetto. So for example, I have back pain. In italiano is ho mal di schiena. Ho mal di schiena. Now, this has to do with health issues and relating about your health issues or ailments in Italian. I do have a dedicated video on how to talk about health problems in Italian. So if you want to learn more, let's say you need to talk to a doctor when you're in Italy, then please don't skip that video. I'm going to leave the link in the description. Ok? Perfetto. Ok, ultime due parole, last two words. The next word is the word for chest. That in Italian is petto. Il petto, if you need to say that plural, I petti. So this is regular. For example, the patient has pain in his chest. Il paziente ha dolore al petto. Last but not least, ultimo ma non meno importante, the word for belly. That in Italian is pancia. Now, pancia is a regular word, like it's feminine, and stays feminine in the plural too. So la pancia becomes le pance, but I want you to notice something that happens in the spelling. So the plural is le pance. We drop the I. Okay? Perfetto. So let's suppose we want to say he has a stomach ache. So pancia is used as belly, but also as stomach, meaning the stomach area. You can say ha mal di pancia. Ha mal di pancia. Ok ragazzi, there you have it. Body parts in Italian, le parti del corpo in italiano. Remember, memorizing words takes time. So please make sure to practice these words. Like for example, get in the habit of looking at your body parts and naming them. So this is a great way to practice them and memorize them, and soon you will be able to remember them effortlessly. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more Italian language tips, vocabulary, and lessons. Until next time, alla prossima! Ciao ciao!